Hey guys, it's Nathan from the Kentucky Cycling YouTube channel. We are in Brevard, North Carolina. We had actually anticipated being in Abingdon, Virginia, but April has brought some interesting weather. Up on White Top Mountain at the top of the Virginia Creeper Trail, they were forecasting 3 inches of snow this weekend, so we decided to forgo our plans there, to cancel that and to pivot. And our fearless leader, Erica Wireman, actually picked out a route from Bikepacking.com. It'll be the first time I've ever done a route from Bikepacking.com, and it's called the Looking Glass Overnighter. Quite a bit of climbing on this ride, particularly by Central Kentucky standards. It's a 38-mile overnight loop, and it's got a little over 100 feet of climbing per mile, so quite a bit of climbing. I anticipate I'll be doing some walking up elevations on this ride, but in general, we're looking forward to it, especially now that the sun has come out and peeked through a little bit. It's probably going to get down below freezing tonight up on the mountain, so it'll be coldest overnight ride I've ever done, but brand new year, up in the adventure level, so looking forward to it. We decided to start our ride at Bracken Preserve. A quick Google search for overnight parking in Brevard indicated that the city of Brevard allows those accessing Pisgah National Forest for recreational use to park their car overnight in the Bracken parking lot. The parking lot is monitored by a security camera and regular nightly police patrols and is right on the loop. Brevard seems to have embraced its identity as a destination town for cyclists. The Brevard Greenway is a system of multi-use paths throughout town which provides a connection into Pisgah National Forest. This is pretty. I don't know if you can see it, but it's snowing. At the bottom of Avery Creek Road, we begin our biggest climb of 1,463 feet. So we're only about a quarter of the way up, and the creek's already way down there. While this road starts out with gradual grades of 2 to 3%, it actually gets steeper as you climb, eventually reaching a 10% grade in some places. I have to say that having other people who are sharing in the struggle really helped to make it much more doable. It's fun to share in the accomplishment of reaching the top. There's two of our leaders. Where are we, Erica?
We're somewhere.
We're somewhere.
In the National Forest.
And we're somewhere in the Pisgah National Forest.
We're at the top of a big climb.
Close to Looking Glass Rock. There it be.
She's so beautiful.
She's so pretty. At the top of the mountain, we took advantage of the piped spring and topped off our water before enjoying a fun descent down to 276. gorgeous. I like that you're in your hood. It really will capture the spirit of the ride right now. Woo! It's Evel Knievel! Woo! Woo! It's snowing!
I can't honestly remember a time in my riding experience where I was so happy to be climbing again. In temperatures like these, descents are really cold, and there's nothing like pedaling up a hill to bring your body temperature back up again. At the top of the climb, we stopped and enjoyed the best views of Looking Glass Rock of the entire trip, for which the ride is aptly named. I want to give a special shout out to my buddy Ben, who I really tossed into the deep end for his very first bikepacking trip.
Sure do like the sun. Thank God. I can look on a cue sheet.
After exploring along Seniard Ridge and taking in the beauty of the waterfall, we settled on a campsite with a view of Looking Glass Rock. Despite the cold, I really enjoyed the first day of this ride.
Some gourmet cooking.
As I stated earlier, this trip represented a lot of firsts for me, including sleeping out in below freezing temps. It was a cold and windy night, but I'm happy to report that I didn't have any trouble keeping warm thanks to the loan of a nice cold weather sleeping bag from my buddy Jacob. Going into this ride, I was more worried about the first day than the second, but would soon discover the rigors associated with a fully loaded hike-a-bike and bikepacking on single track, another first for me. And the weather ended up playing a role that I didn't anticipate. The day started in the low 30s and was only supposed to get into the upper 40s by noon. So I put a wool base layer on under my tights, which I later realized was a big mistake, as we ended up having a leisure morning and didn't end up leaving camp until close to 11 a.m. and the temps ended up getting up to the 70s. This was also a problem because I thought we would be finishing our ride around lunch and I didn't pack enough food. The first part of our ride was incredibly slow going and represented an interesting combination of adventure and misadventure. We had several riders who were testing the upper limits of their setup, with various items getting dropped and other equipment failures along the way. Brevard area is home to more than 250 waterfalls and is known as the land of waterfalls. As a group, we must have been channeling our collective turtle spirit, because by the time we reached the fish hatchery, we had only come a total of about 10 miles, and it was 3:30 p.m., well after the time we thought we'd finish, and we still had 12 miles to go and a significant climb up Forest Road 475C. We chatted up a local mountain biker in the parking lot of the fish hatchery who suggested that we might save some time and cut out some of that climb by taking the Stony Knob Trail down and taking Joe Branch Road back to town. While we ended up following this advice, as it turned out, it didn't actually save us any elevation and actually ended up adding miles to our overall ride. On a personal note, I was almost out of water by the time we reached the fish hatchery. I had hoped to refill water bottles and stripped down some layers there, but it was all closed up for construction. And as we started to climb, I started overheating. My energy level dropped and I started to balk. And so I was pretty much crawling up 475C. And before I'd reached the turn to Stony Knob, I decided to take off my tights, riding in my wool base layer, and had to stop to filter some water in an effort to hydrate. So I was most definitely one with the turtle. I want to say thanks again to Erica for encouraging us to take this trip and for coaching us through it. This was quite a bit more challenging ride than the one we had originally signed up for. And frankly, I wasn't fully convinced that I was even capable of it at this point in the season, especially after having had shoulder surgery this past July. It definitely got me out of my comfort zone, but I never felt like I was in the wrong group. And the positive peer pressure to try something that I wasn't completely comfortable with is really the only way to grow. Despite the fact that I bonked and that the ride didn't turn out exactly like I had imagined, I still have a lot of milestones to celebrate. Not only am I glad that I did it, I'm all that much more excited for my next adventure. At the end of the day, I'm just an average Joe who loves to get out and experience the world on the seat of a bicycle. I hope this video inspires you to start making plans for your next big adventure, whatever that is. And when you do, know that you may just be capable of doing more than you give yourself credit for. As always, we hope you found this content useful. If you did, please like the video and consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks.